We'll start with Saturday, the win over Arkansas. Listening to the broadcast, there was a moment where you did your signature, your fist bump, and Bill Raftery goes, he looks like he's 30 years old or feels like he's 30 years old. How are you feeling entering year 31 here?
You know, I do feel great. I mean, I'm trying to work out a little more, feel a little better, got a little bit of the stress of the committees off my shoulders, and you know, but it's one game. It was a big game for us because I think it would have been different if we won it by shooting 60% from the field and 45% from the three, and we didn't do it that way. So we did it the way that should be able to move forward on. But we have so many things to get better at. It was just what I was happiest about is we had an unbelievable crowd. I mean, I think it was, Morris Peterson was sitting behind us. He said it reminded him back of the days, you know, not that it's always good, but it was kind of an elite level. And I think it was good for our fans to get a big-time non-conference game in here, good for our players, and now we got to see if we can build on it and not relax on it.
Yeah, John Calipari said after the game that he's never been here before, and that was something unique to him. What does that mean when you hear someone compliment this area, and especially the Breslin Center?
Well, I was appreciative of John saying that. He said it to me on the floor. I mean, he's been at Kentucky, you know, and Arkansas is no slouch as far as fan base. So that said a lot. I think it says more for our fans and our students than it does for me, but it was awesome to hear.
The game itself with Cam Ward having 18 points, 10 rebounds, leading the team. He obviously is a scorer going back to his high school days in Maryland. But what did you expect coming in, especially 2 games into his freshman season with him?
You know, we were really looking at the physical nature of our team because we didn't think we played very physical at UConn and not very good against Cornell. And that was one of the points of emphasis, and he's kind of my Antonio Smith, Andre Hudson, Alan Agagne, Tillman. You know, he's those guys that aren't afraid of physical games, and but except he's a better athlete and a better scorer than most of those guys. So it was really I didn't expect that, but it was really good to see.
The winning pedigree, too, that he has in high school. Do you look for that in guys when recruiting?
100%, you know. It's like some of the guys we're getting now, they've won 2 and 3 championships, and he's won 4. And I think there is a point to that winning is still important in a day and age where it doesn't seem to be as important as it should be.
With Jordan Scott, too, obviously another freshman, what have you liked about the way he's been coming along in the offseason now, early in the season?
Well, we were a little surprised, you know. We loved Jordan as a player, but we did not think he'd play as hard and good defensively as he's been playing rebounding. We thought he was, you know, needed to put on some weight, which he did. We thought he'd have to learn how to play more physical, and we were a little wrong on that. He does play awfully hard. And, you know, how much those two can sustain what they did, I mean, we still need, you know, Jeremy to be Jeremy. Cohen was a lot more aggressive, you know, Coop and Jax, and then, you know, there's hunting for our 2 guard, you know. And Kerr, you know, is still the best shooter on the team. We just got to get him more comfortable, and with the other 2 transfers, we got to find a combination there that works.
How do you get a guy comfortable shooting early in the season?
I don't know, you know, I mean, everybody says, you know, it's on confidence. Well, of course it's on confidence, but confidence is not usually given. Confidence is usually earned, and I got to admit, Kerr shoots the ball every day. He worked on it all summer long, but people go into where they aren't shooting it quite as well. He didn't get many reps either, you know, in both games. He hasn't gotten a lot of shots in games, and his defense has to improve to get enough time in there. So that's what we're working on now, and it's so early in the season. There's so many big games. We just have to make sure now a big win against Arkansas, Kentucky lurking down the road. You know, we're going to have to play better offensively to be moving forward.
A lot of times I think throughout over the last few years, the Champions Classic is like that test right away, but you kind of have had that already. Do you think Arkansas can help set you up now for this year's Champions Classic?
You know what I thought helped us as much as anything was going and getting our brains beat in by UConn. Very physical team and a very good team. And I think that helped us against Arkansas some, plus going on the road, playing in a hostile environment. So that was good. Then, of course, this game was good. It shows us we can do some things that we weren't sure we could do. We got better defensively. We got better rebounding the ball. But we got so much work to do. So I don't want fans to, think we've arrived, because we're a long ways from arriving. But I do think we took some significant steps, and that's kind of what you hope happens in the non-conference.
How helpful is it to have 4 captains, too, that have been through it and know, like, you can't get too high on one game this early in the season?
Some people look at that as, boy, 4 captains, which means you don't have one. You got it by committee. The players voted for that, and the voting was unbelievably high for all 4 of them. And I think they each bring something different to the table. Coop and Jackson have done an unbelievable job with our 2 young big guys. If you talk to Cam or you talk to Jesse, they tell you those guys have been incredible mentors. And of course, Cohen, I needed him to come out of his shell a little bit, and I thought he played harder with more energy in the huddles and everything. And Jeremy is the natural leader because he's not afraid to hear his own voice. But the combination, they all get along. They've all been through the wars, is really, I think, helpful.
How can having 4 guys that have, come in as freshmen, developed, and now you see them as seniors or juniors, how can that be an example and help the freshmen now knowing, like, it takes time, but once you get there, it's pretty cool here at this program?
Well, I think culture is what I'm going to sell till I leave. It might get me in the end because of this day and age of transition and transactions. But I really believe still that the culture you build, the relationships you have, players helping players is still a big part. Our former players, grind week, come back, talk to our guys. Our current players that have been through the wars and know what it's like. That is very, very important. Now, I think John even mentioned that to me, a little bit with his guys. So it's really important, and some people are going to win without it. But I think to be consistently good, you still need some continuity in your program.
Having that type of culture, that's got to be one of the best compliments you typically get from other coaches, right?
It really is, and a lot of coaches text me after the game, and I just think people appreciate that we're not old school in it. It's just kind of the right way to do things. I mean, I wouldn't want to send my kids somewhere where nobody was. I mean, we have more than a few teams in our league that have 10 new guys, 11 new guys. You need somebody to show you around, and even when I got this job, I hadn't been a head coach before, but I'd been in this program, the culture, and I'd been around it, and I knew the players and the recruiting area and all the things that matter, so I don't know, culture to me is a lot.
Kind of with overall the Michigan State athletics culture right now, with this past weekend, with you guys winning, hockey sweeping Penn State, women's soccer going to the Big Ten tournament championship game. A lot of good going on right now. What's that like to see as sort of the face of the athletic department in a way?
Well, and our volleyball team is winning. I think everybody is kind of rallying together, and I'd like to say this publicly, it's been a tough year for football, but we have a big game at home this weekend, and I hope, what I learned the other day is, our Spartan fans are still there. It's been crazy with all the things that's happened here over the last few years, and then with COVID and everybody having to kind of reassess and redo, but I hope we all get out this weekend and support our football team, and the others are doing well, and hopefully that's a plus for football. I did go over to the hockey game on Friday night and saw half of it, and the energy in that place and the job Adam's done is incredible. I did watch our soccer game. I watched the second half and of course the 2 overtimes, and it was really proud of Jeff and the women and what they did. Our women's team is scoring more points than Carter got liver pills, and so hats off to Robin and their team, I think when everybody does well, it's better for us. I think it's better for you. I think it's better for our community and our fans.
Last one I got for you, kind of going off of football. From a bird's eye view, I guess, what has it been like seeing, with Jonathan, and how has he been handling a lot of this right now?
It's difficult. I mean, I talk to him every week, but I reminded him that in year 2, a lot of people weren't happy with me. Started the year 3, got off to a rough start, and I thought I was in trouble. Well, I knew I was in trouble. I didn't think it, but things got turned around. People think it's easier to turn it around now because you can just go out and buy players. Well, first of all, you got to have the money to go buy players, and second of all, it's not as easy as you think if you have no base. And his base that he doesn't have is not all his fault. And I really believe that he's a very good coach. I think, you look at some of those games, Indiana, Minnesota, don't want to blame the officials, but tough call. We, missed a tough field goal. I mean, been a little snake bit, but we have played better. The UCLA game here, he would tell you, I would tell you, everybody would tell you it was just a bad game. But since then, I think that's the mark of a good coach. We've gotten better. We've been a lot more competitive, and this weekend would be a big game against Penn State. So, all you Spartan fans, I'm going to be there. I hope you're there.